just brought you guys in to explain the top of descent. We are traveling towards the Los Angeles VOR, and that's the last VOR before the VOR at the destination airport, which is the Pescara VOR. Let's jump into the cockpit. We are 6.5 miles, 4 miles now away from the VOR, and the distance between this VOR and the one at the airfield that is our destination is 128 miles. So in other words, if you remember the top of descent calculation, 75 miles, I will give it a 5-mile buffer, so 80 miles. So when we start tracking this outbound at about 48 miles on the DME, we are going to start our descent. Okay, the signal is gone. Let's switch to heading mode and wait for the signal to come back to track it outbound on the same. And the course is going to be 180. Let's keep turning to 180 and arm the B. Alright, the aircraft should pick up the course. Yep, it did right now. Both indicators are green. And we are kind of slowing down a little bit, so I'm gonna adjust my throttle setting and maybe give it a little bit more. Just like that, to maintain Mach 0.7. That's what I'm trying to do, but this always changes depending on the wind and everything else, so you have to be careful about this. Anyway, I'll bring you guys back when we are ready to start the descent. Welcome back. We have 10 miles to top of descent, so we will take a look at a couple things and prepare the aircraft for descent. First, we will set the altitude down to 4,000 feet, which is our initial altitude. We need to slow the aircraft down, so I'm going to cut the throttles a little bit to slow down to 270 knots. And I'm going to set my speed bug to 270, roughly. And we are coming down there. We will turn off. We will set roughly a 3-degree descent, and we are at 270 knots, so we will select indicated airspeed and reduce the throttles, then the aircraft will start descending naturally. So 2,000 feet per minute is what I'm aiming for according to the top of descent calculation. We need 2,200 roughly. I'll keep the checklist open because we are getting ready to do the descent checklist. And when you cut the throttles, if the horn starts to sound, there is a silencer right here that you can use to silence the horn. Okay, that's a good descent rate for now, and let's complete the descent checks. First thing, we have to, oh, they were already on. And we turn the seatbelt signs on. I see ice detection illuminated, so let's turn on the anti-ice systems for the airfoil, and let's take a look at the checklist. Fasten seatbelt signs are on. Pressurization, we are looking good. Cabin should start descending, so let's go and check the field information. 1019er is the altimeter, so we will set the altimeter. Oh, it's already set to 1019, so we should start seeing the cabin depressurize as we descend. Okay, TTG switches, these are these switches. We will move them to takeoff because this is required in the event of a go around. Landing data is checked, crew briefing is complete, so we will move on to the approach checklist, and we will discuss what we are going to do. We started to pick up the signal from the next VOR, which is the VOR at our destination airport. Therefore, we can momentarily switch to heading mode, nav 1, and switch back to B. This will free up the nav 2. We will set the ILS frequency 110.9er, I believe was the frequency. I will double check here in a second. 0.7. Okay, 110.7. Final approach course is 214. We will eventually tune this to nav1, but I'm just keeping this here as a reference for now. The other thing we can do instead of doing this is to tune the same frequency here to free up nav1 and switch to nav2, and that will give us nav1 for the ILS, which makes more sense, right? So let's do that. 108, 115.9er, momentarily to heading mode, nav2, and then back to B. Now we can set the ILS here. 110.7, final approach course 214, and that sets everything for the ILS. Coming down to 20,000, when we reach 10,000 we will slow down to 250 knots and use the indicated airspeed again for the rest of the descent, and we will idle the throttles. Passing below 10,000 we will also set the local barometric pressure 1019er, and that's pretty much everything we need to do the setup. As I shared, we are going to fly a circle to land approach, and I will explain that when we get closer. So I will cut the video here, bring you guys back when we are ready to pass below 10,000 feet. Alright friends, we are coming down to 10,000, so let's jump into the cockpit. And what we are going to do is, we are at 12,000, 2,000 feet to go. We need to slow the aircraft down to 250. So we'll switch to pitch mode, pitch up a little bit. And that should slow us down to 250, which seems to work. While it's slowing down, we will turn the nose marking lights to on. And you can also use the speed brakes to slow down if you want to, or cut the throttles even more to do that, but we are slowing down, so that shouldn't be a problem. Step 250, we'll go back to, actually, hold on, let's double check this, that's 250. We are still not there yet, so we will pitch up a little bit more. And we should be okay. 23 miles to the ILS. We will brief the approach here in a little bit. I'm going to take care of this first. That is good enough for me. 250, back to indicated airspeed, and idle the throttles. We are about to pass below 10,000. I'm gonna turn on my landing lights. Landing lights are coming on, and they are being extended. Passing below 10,000, we will also switch to the local pressure of 1019er. Alright, let's set the local pressure. 019er. And I will double check that with the B key, because sometimes they don't match with what's in the sim and what's in the METAR, and obviously this is 1018 in the sim. Okay, that's good enough for me. We are descending, and now we can brief the approach. Let me bring up the chart here. We are 17 miles away. I'm gonna put the chart on the screen so that you guys can see it too. What we are going to do is, at about 2-3 miles to the VOR, we are going to start a left turn to 063 at 7.9 DME from the VOR. We will start another left turn to 214, which is our final approach course. At this point we need to start descending down to 2000, consider adding flaps, putting the landing gear down, and configuring the aircraft for approach before we complete the turn, so that we can safely arrive to our final fix and activate the glide slope. So that's the plan. We are at 13 miles. I will keep my heading box synced. And watch the altimeter. So we are looking good. We will also let the aircraft slow down a little bit to 200 knots. so that we don't overshoot that turn when we are making the turn, but we are getting close. You see at 11 miles, and I started to see the airport right here in front of us. So this turn will take us back to the sea, and then we will do a circle to land to the runway. Hopefully all will go smoothly. Let's make sure we get back to 4,000 on time. Looks like we will, or we might be a little late. If that's the case, we will change the altimeter to the altitude to 2,000, and the aircraft should keep descending if we don't quite make it to 4,000 before we reach 2 miles to the VOR, 3 miles to the VOR. Alright, I think at this point I'm gonna switch to heading mode and keep this on the VOR localizer for now, and watch the DME to start that turn to 063. That's a left turn. We have 2,000 feet to go. I don't think we are going to make it to 4,000 before we hit the VOR. But that will make our life a little bit easier. We don't forget to set the altitude. Sometimes that happens when you are too busy trying to land. But we are almost there. Getting ready to fly the procedure. While we are waiting, the decision height is 245, so we will set it on the radio altimeter, 245. That's also set. And let's make sure TLCs are in the takeoff position. And to do that, I have to get the throttles out of the way and cut it back. Okay. We are coming down to 4,000, and I think that's time to make that turn to 063. So let's start turning, and I'm gonna set the altitude down to 2,000 because we have to keep descending down to 2,000, and we will see how we will make the turn. We started picking up the signal from the ILS, looks like, and when we make the turn and we don't need nav2 anymore, we will tune the ILS frequency to our nav2 radio as well. So we are gonna keep turning. That should be 063 or close. And what we can do is we can change this course. Why is this course? Okay, that's my controller bug. I should have fixed that. Let's keep that at 214. And let's bring this down to 063 and activate the beam and hope that the aircraft will pick up the beam. I think we overshot that turn a little bit, so I'm going to keep turning just a little bit more to catch back on the localizer frequency beam. Or the VOR beam, not the localizer. This is not the localizer. And we are at 2,000. The aircraft should now start pitching up, and that should start giving us the speed we need. So this turned to be a wider turn because I didn't quite start to turn at 3 miles, so that's on me. I was busy checking other things. But no worries, we will still be fine. I'm just watching the DME because we should keep turning. So aircraft should will hopefully catch the beam. I will let the speed lead off to start my flaps. Right, we are holding 2,000, and what we can do is when we caught the beam, so the aircraft is turning towards the localizer beam, which is great, and we are at 6.6 miles, perfect. This is gonna work. We didn't lose that much by overshooting that turn. Let's arm the lift dampers. We will need them for our landing, and let's take a look at the checklist. Alright, no smoking is on, altimeters are set, landing lights are on and on final. We'll keep this here. Alright, at this point we are at 8.2. I again have to switch to the heading mode and start turning to 240. I am late a little bit, but let's keep turning. We will be fine. We can activate the approach mode and the glide, arm the glide and move the flight director to glide and keep turning. As you see, there are a lot of things, and now I need to tune this to 110.7 and set the course to 063, oh, 240, I'm sorry. Okay, better. And let's keep turning. We lost quite some speed. I will add some speed for flap 6. We don't want to lose too much altitude. I wasn't watching my speed, unfortunately. As you see, a lot of things to consider when turning. But luckily we didn't stall the aircraft. So the approach mode is active, auto glide slope is active, and we should keep turning towards our final fix or initial fix, I think is this one. I will go flaps 411. I didn't hear the call outs, I don't know why. I think it's time to cut the throttles back a little bit and silence that horn again. That horn is there to remind you about the landing gear, which we will drop when we finish the turn. So let's keep the turn and hopefully the aircraft will capture the localizer. Go all the way to final approach course for the heading. Lift dampers are ready and we are at 10 miles to the airport and hopefully we will catch the localizer. Let's go to the beam and hope that the aircraft will capture the localizer. Looks like it did. And the glide slope will come next. Alright, we are on the localizer, we see the airport in front of us, we'll cut the throttles just a little bit more. We are at 9 miles, we can bring the landing gear down and keep slowing the aircraft. And wait until we catch the glide slope to go for the final stage of flaps. Alright, just a little bit more and we will be landing. All looking good. Missed approach altitude is 5,000 when we start descending, and when we capture the glide slope we will then set the missed approach altitude. That's the glide slope indicator. We are almost at our final fix and we should capture the glide slope here in a little bit. Our approach speed, as you see here, is 124 and we will add 10 miles to make sure we maintain and don't stall the aircraft, and VREF plus 10 is what we need to do. I'm gonna cut the throttles, we capture the glide slope, we are descending, so I'll set the missed approach altitude to 5,000. Everything is looking good here. And we are nicely descending on the glide slope. Perfect. That's what we wanted. I will maintain the speed, watching the DME, and I will probably cut or disconnect the autopilot very shortly and then fly the rest myself, because we are 100% visual, nothing to worry there. And the puppies are looking a little bit wrong, saying we are lower than where we need to be. I'm not sure if that's true, but the aircraft is losing the glide for some reason. Isn't that our glide slope indicator? It is trying to get back on the glide slope by pitching up, I guess. because that's our indicator. I think I'm gonna cut down the autopilot because we are going dangerously low. Need some throttle and pitch the nose up and fly the rest myself. I'm not sure why the glide slope did not work quite well, but anyhow, we have the skills to land this bird. So we'll go final stage of flaps at this point, and the aircraft will pitch up obviously, and just trying to see the puppies and maintain the runway in sight and go on the center line. Okay, one light, one white on the puppies. I think we are getting back on the course. We are dangerously low on speed though. 100. Okay, this is the glide slope indicator. Created some challenge for us, but we should be fine. Okay, we are high now. Let's cut the throttles now and get back on the profile. Alright, we are looking good now. Idle the throttles, speed brakes out, and that should get us down. Just flare a little bit. And the lift spoilers or lift dampers are out, nose is down, and manual braking. So I can bring the speed brakes in now. And okay, we can keep going now. To engage the parking brake is interesting. Alright, we'll keep going like this. And use that next exit to vacate the runway. I need to bring the lift dampers in. I need to disarm it to do that. That part I don't remember quite well, but that's what I think should happen, or they will just do that. Okay, now they are in. We'll take this exit, and obviously we will configure the aircraft for taxi. So we don't need this anymore. We don't need that anymore. Let's turn it off. Landing lights can come off now, and I will stop here momentarily. Set the radar to standby and transponder back to standby, and we will turn on our taxi lights and keep turning and get back to the apron to find ourselves a parking spot. Okay, all good. I don't know why we lost the glide slope, but so be it. It's gonna be fine. We managed to land a little bit floaty, but it was okay. Alright, better. And let's go and start the APU now. Main to on. Wait 10 seconds and make sure we don't drift away from the taxiway. And hit the starter button, and that should give us the APU. Let's go and take a look here. We already did this after landing. I think we all did this. What we haven't done is turn the probe pitot heat and the window heat on. Airfoil and or the anti-ice can go back to off. Pitot and heating, and we have the APU, so we can turn the Gen 3 and APU air on. Okay, I think we are going to. Is this the Yes, this is okay. We will turn right from the next turn. I think we missed our turn maybe, but it's okay. And we will find ourselves a parking spot and shut the engine down and let the passengers out. I will probably not complete everything to the shutdown, but we will probably complete everything that is required to deboard our passengers. Let's keep turning and maybe go and find ourselves a parking spot. Maybe 4, maybe 5. I don't know the rack numbers. This is 3 and 4, 5, and I'm gonna do this one. 5. Taxi light coming off. We don't want to blind anyone. And I guess we will go here to 5. And I suck at parking. Without seeing a VDGS would be very helpful at this point. But we will correct the nose and hopefully I will stop the aircraft at the right spot. Okay, let's see how I did. Well, not bad, not great, but we probably can go a little bit. I'm just worried about this ladder here. Alright, let's stop here. Set the parking brake. Good. Check the brake temperatures. They are looking okay. Everything is in. We have APU air. We can turn one of the bleed air or duct valve. We don't need the cockpit one because we are about to switch to the APU air. And turn these off. And finally, kill the engines. We should have APU feeding power to the aircraft. And we can go ahead and I think now at this point open the doors. Clear that warning. Can also open the cockpit door. And we can request deboarding.
The boarding requested.
To do that, we probably have to open the cargo doors. We can put the chocks in. And that's about it.
Passengers bus is coming.
Look at that. I'm not sure where the bus will park. The static equipment is in the way. But here we are. While the passengers are deboarding, we can just continue with shutting the rest of the things down because they are now exiting the aircraft. We don't need to keep the APU running. So we will turn that off, turn the air off, turn the generator off, stop the APU. That will put us back on battery power. Come down, turn off the emergency exit lights. Nothing to do here. Yep, we are now on battery power. Turn off our radios.
Passengers deboarding
Turn
started.
off our transponder. And turn off the high frequency radio as well. Yeah, the air damper is off. These are all off. Fast lock, we forgot to set it while taxiing. Move our co-pilot out of the way so that he can exit the aircraft. Turn off the fuel pumps. I think that's all we need to do. Oh, you can just go and turn off the radios too, if that's necessary. And set the course to 0 if you are too worried about that. To keep and leave a clean aircraft. to the next crew that will be flying, and maybe just sync the heading back to the correct heading, which they should set it when they are ready. Okay, that's all. Now the passengers are deboarding the aircraft. We can turn the batteries off and leave the aircraft ourselves as well. There we go. Alright guys, that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed the second part of this video. If you did, consider giving it a like. And if you are not a subscriber to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It helps a lot. Thanks for being here with me today, and I will see you in the next video.